I'm going to ask you what your time is worth. And I don't need you to answer that question right now, but I want to ask you what your time is worth. For me, that question and the perception of the answer of that question has, changed for me over time. I thought my time was worth what I got paid, like per hour, like at a job. Like that's what I thought my time was worth. And now that I am a business owner, and now that I'm a grandfather, my perception of what my time is worth has changed. So it's 2016. I am in my corporate America job. I am a facilities and I'm a maintenance manager. I'm running a small maintenance department inside of a small pharmaceutical company. So I had several machine techs, and I had one or two custodial type individuals who would help out with keeping the facility clean. Other than what I had, anything else that I needed to take care of that facility, I had to call out and use outside vendors. One thing that I really just hated was the fact that I didn't have anything I needed to call out. So I needed to call out specialty stuff, electrical stuff, HVAC stuff, the whole nine yards. So what had happened one particular day, and this is basically the origins of Yorktowne, was I was on the phone with a local local sprinkler company that did sprinklers and water checks and stuff like that. And I needed to get these guys in to do our yearly maintenance. I was sitting there one day and I'm on a phone call with this local company, and I'm basically on my 5th or 6th different phone call to about 4 different people, 5 different people, and the phone is ringing, and it's like ring, and the receptionist had called me, and I could see it on my phone that she was ringing in. I heard the beep in the phone, and I was sitting at an office phone. It wasn't with my cell phone, and I heard the beep coming in, and I realized it was Jean out front. She was calling me to tell me that somebody was there to see me. Okay. And meanwhile, I'm still trying to get a hold of this other company to have them come out and do our annual sprinkler check. And the phone's just ringing. And then, it rang a couple more times, and then Jean picked up the pager and paged me over the intercom of the plant. Brian, come to the front office, this and that, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, as the phone is ringing, I'm getting angrier and angrier. And I'm like, okay, Gene, I'm on the phone right now. Just calm down. I'll be up to get you, So as the phone kept ringing, I'm just like, man, they're not going to pick up, and I'm not going to be able to do this. I had tried to schedule this appointment numerous times before, and had also sent numerous emails, and had also left numerous voicemails. And whenever I did, I heard it. The phone went bing, and it's like, thank you for calling, And basically they told me, fuck you, Brian, we're not going to answer your phone call, and you're not going to get our service. That's what I heard, but that's not really what they said. That's basically what I heard, because I'm like, I've been trying to get a hold of you guys forever, and I still, to this day, I could not get a hold of them. Mm-hmm. So I slammed the phone against the receiver, against the dock, and I was like, I sat back, and I still remember where I was at, what I was wearing. As I'm telling you this story now, I'm actually in that space.
Right.
And I was like, I just wish I would call one company that would take care of all of it. I just wish I could call, because basically that was a culmination of all the stress that I have ever had in that company trying to call outside vendors. Like, right. I would spend hours at my desk trying to call and engage outside services, trying to get an HVAC tech to come and do the rooftop unit PMs or any type of other things that we were having troubles with on our systems, trying to get a company to come in that would fix the parking lot lights and then change out lights in our clean rooms. Trying to get a plumber. So I sat back and I was like, man, it's just like, why does this not exist? Like, why does one company that will take care of everything not exist? Like, why is it? A couple months later is when I actually formed the company. I figured nobody else is doing it. I might as well do it. I was just trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And basically, like, if folks have asked me throughout the years, like, what are you good at, and what do you do, and I would try to be like, blah blah blah, I run automation, and do this, and I fuck with robots, and I do that, and I, blah 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 blah. But what it basically all boiled down to was I solve problems.
Yeah.
So I was trying to solve my own problem, and that's how this company came to light. For me to go full time in it, like we're 7 years into it right now. Since the start of it, we are going in 6 years now since I've been full time, and I still think we're a startup. Like, I still look at the company as a startup, and we've been in it for like the last 6 to 7 years. It took to go full time. It took about a year's worth of small jobs, just persistency, trying to get the word out there, trying to create momentum, to actually force my hand to go full time and do it full time. But yeah, like, it was that story within itself is a crazy story. So I got a call one day from an old coworker of mine who said, hey, one of the place that my second to last corporate job had went out of business, and they were selling off the building, selling off the equipment and everything else like that, and this automation needed to be taken down, disassembled, in a manner that it could be transported and then reassembled and put back into production very quickly, and that it was all basically plug and play. This automation, what made this stuff special was not only like the fact that like it needed to get put back together, but it's automation for medical device stuff. So the stringencies around what has to happen, how it has to happen, the documentation flow, the whole 9 yards has got to be. It's got to be top notch. It's basically like you're removing his equipment, making it brand new again, and sending it back out into the world, that he could actually come out of this clean room, go to another clean room, and start back into production. I'm walking through, and they basically told us that we had 29 days to disassemble, pack up, and ship out stuff that was, took us 2 years to install. It didn't take actually, 2 years worth of time to take the equipment and assemble all the equipment. It was a 2-year project. I'm like, it took us 2 years to install this. How the hell are we going to disassemble? Yeah. So I was on my way back to my office of my corporate job, and I went back to my office, sat down, half had a nervous breakdown, wrote my resignation letter, and sent it. And that day, and sent it. Wow. Called the guys back at the facility, said, hey, listen, we're going to do this job for you. And then I was like, how the fuck am I going to do this job? So I just took this job. It's the first job. How am I going to do this job? Right. Because it's only me, So in comes like me picking up the phone, calling all my buddies, calling my buddy Jimmy again, calling my father-in-law. Like, I called anybody and everybody I could think of that could help me, not only throughout the day, but like on second shift as well. So some of them guys were working all day long and then coming in the evenings to help us disassemble this equipment. Wow. Cody, I can't tell you what that dude means to me. He came, and a bunch of other guys came, and we knocked that job out of the park. Like, just absolutely killed it. One thing leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. But I am a true believer that something is actually out there that where you put good out and you actually make action towards something, it'll reward you. I've experienced it. Like I have, like firsthand have experienced it. So we jumped into that job, and I jumped into this, full time. But it's like I said about the universe, is like when you put it out there and then you actually make action upon it, that's, it'll start feeding you. And then basically the company, has doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled. And if you look at it, we have 15 full-time guys right now, and we did it in the course of less than 5 years. So
that's impressive.
We're actually, and I don't say this to brag, I say this to try to help somebody who will watch this conversation, down the line. Maybe somebody sees this, whenever, 6 months, 6 years, 16 years, 60 years from now, and they're like, they may watch this and say, wow, that's really what is possible. But yeah, we've turned from zero to a multi-million-dollar company in 5 years. And if you had told me that 5 years, I'd have been like, you're you know what I mean? But
at the beginning of it,
oh yeah, forget about it. Forget about it. But yeah, it absolutely is possible, and it can be done. And it's like I said, I don't use the numbers and say multi-million to brag. You know what I mean? I'm using that to say it can be done. I am nobody special at all. I just went to work. For anybody who is out there trying to or thinking about starting their own thing, like, you don't need a logo, you don't need a blah 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 blah. All you need to do is figure out how to solve a problem, and you solve problems. And basically, still to this day, I am solving problems for myself. I am talking and messaging to Brian, sitting at that desk, trying to schedule that fucking sprinkler test, for the umpteenth time, and wishing that I had one place that I could call that would take care of all of it. Like, that's what I'm doing, and I do it every day for the last 7 years. So so that's the reason why the company exists and why the multiple divisions and stuff like that. The multiple divisions is because I was always multi-craft. If I didn't know something, I learned it. I had an electrical background. How the hell did I do HVAC? Well, at that point in time, I knew zero about HVAC. Like, zero. So I was like, I'm gonna have to fucking learn this. So I immediately enrolled into an online HVAC course that was supposed to take me 2 years to go through, but it only took me 6 months because I'd already known the electrical and the whole 9 yards. Like, so I was able to breeze through a lot of that and test out of a lot of that course. So I got my HVAC certificate, got my EPA license and stuff like that. And the reason why is because anything that I needed to know what they were talking about, and that way it didn't sound like bullshit and I could call bullshit. So, and I'm glad that I've done that now because of the fact, every part of our business, I can walk onto a job site and know firsthand what those guys are going through. Like, I'm just not some guy that had this great fucking idea to start this company and have no idea what the day-to-day looks like. You know what I mean? And what it takes to get the day-to-day done. I did the day-to-day. Like, I was the day-to-day. So that's the reason why we have different divisions, because they're all things that I used to be a part of. Like, I taught myself how to weld. Like, I taught myself XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. If I didn't know something, I was super hyper-focused on it, and I learned it. So the different divisions are basically different parts of me and my past career. And so, and then, putting them all together and offering them as a package and saying, what is your time really worth? Like, I just met with a guy last week, facilities manager, has to call out vendor services all day long, every day. Like, he doesn't have the in-house resources to do, you know, if he needs parking lot lights changed, if he needs a sub panel installed, if he needs, you know, machine drops for a new piece of equipment that they're putting in, if he needs, you know, if the office HVAC goes out in the office, everything that I experienced in 2016, this guy's living today in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
you know, those type, and like, you know, what is his time worth? You know, and those types of people are who we're messaging to, and who we're trying to say, like, hey, listen, like, you know, what is your time worth, and how much time are you spending trying to do this? And wouldn't it be fucking awesome if you just call one company that could take care of everything? And that's basically what we're doing.